Here's something most people don't realize. You already have an estate plan right now. Whether you've thought about it or not, you haven't created one yourself, then the state is going to assign one to you. And I promise you, you would not have chosen their plan. The state's plan doesn't know your spouse. It doesn't know which child needs protecting. It doesn't know about the business you've built, the property you own, or the family member you specifically wouldn't want in charge of your money. It doesn't care. It follows a formula, a legal default, and your family lives with the consequences. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 mistakes that hand control of your legacy over to the system that was never designed with your family in mind. And I'm going to show you exactly how to take that control back. I also have a free tool for you at the end of this to make this much smoother for you and your family. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jacqueline. I'm a certified financial planner, founder of Golden Wealth Strategies, and the host of the 4-time Emmy-nominated TV show on PBS, My Money Mentors. This channel is dedicated to one thing: helping families protect the wealth that they've built. We talk about estate planning, wealth preservation, and the conversations most financial advisors never have with their clients because they're too uncomfortable, too complicated, or just too honest. If that's the kind of content you're looking for, hit subscribe right now. I put out a new video every week, and the people who watch consistently are the ones who actually get ahead of these things before it's too late. And if by the end of the video you want to sit down and talk through your specific situation, there's a link below to book a call with our team. No pressure, no pitch. Just a real conversation about where you stand. Now, let's get into it. The mistakes I'm going to walk you through today don't show up while you're alive or cognizant. Nobody calls you and says, "Hey, this is wrong." They show up when your family is grieving, when they're exhausted, when they're trying to make decisions they never prepared to make, and by then there's nothing left to fix. I'm gonna walk you through 5 specific mistakes and give you the fix for every single one. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to check, what to change, and what to do first. And I'll tell you right now, mistake number 3 is the one that surprises almost everyone, even people who think they've done everything right. So stay with me. Let's start with the most powerful document in your estate plan. And I bet it's not what you think. Most people assume it's their will. It's not. The most powerful document you have, the one that controls the most money, is your beneficiary designation form. And most people signed it once and never looked at it again. Here's why this matters. Your beneficiary designations override your will completely, legally, without exception. So if your will says your children will split your retirement account equally, but the retirement account still names your ex-spouse from 15 years ago, your ex-spouse wins. No debate, no appeals, no second chances. The beneficiary form wins every time. I've seen this happen. An account opened during a first marriage, a divorce, a remarriage, kids, years go by, nobody checks the paperwork. A spouse passes away and suddenly a significant amount of money goes to someone the family hasn't spoken to in over a decade because nobody updated the form. The fix is simple, but you have to actually do it. Log into every account that you own. Your 401k, your IRA, your life insurance, any investment or brokerage account. Pull up the beneficiary form. Read the name or names listed. Is it who you'd want if you died tonight? And also name a contingent beneficiary too, a backup. Because if your primary beneficiary passes away before you and there's no backup named, the asset could end up in probate anyway, which brings us directly to mistake number 2, probate. One of those words that gets thrown around a lot, and most people don't understand what it actually means until they're inside of it. Here's the simple version. When you die, your estate has to go through a legal process to verify your debts, your will, and distribute what's left. The process is what we call probate. And on paper, it sounds manageable. In practice, it is one of the most stressful experiences a grieving family can face. Here's what probate actually looks like. Months of waiting, sometimes over a year. I'm located in the DMV area, and on average, it takes a family about 20 months to get through probate. Court filings your family will have to navigate, often with an attorney that they're paying by the hour. And here's the part that nobody talks about. Probate is actually public. Anyone can look up details of your estate, what you owned, what you owe, and who gets what. Families have been targeted not only by creditors, contractors, but con artists after probate records were published. But the real cost isn't the money or the time, it's the stress. Your family is already dealing with a loss. Now they're dealing with the courts and paperwork and delays at the worst possible moment. The good news, probate is often completely avoidable. Proper beneficiary designations, correct asset titling, transfer on death accounts, maybe even a living trust. These are tools that keep your family out of that system. But they have to be set up before you need them. And that leads directly to the mistake I promised you. The one that catches most people off guard more than any other. You created a trust, you paid the attorney, you signed the documents, you feel good. The estate plan is done, except it's not. Because a trust only controls what's inside of it. If you create a trust, but you never transfer your assets into it, your house, your bank accounts, your investments, the trust is empty. It's a legal structure with nothing in it. And when you pass away, those assets skip the trust entirely and they go straight into probate, the exact thing you were trying to avoid. Unfortunately, this isn't rare. This is one of the most common mistakes in estate planning. Creating the document is only step one. Funding it, actually retitling your assets into the name of the trust. That's the step that you usually have to pay the attorney more for, and people will skip. And most people will never actually get the trust funded. So if you have a trust, check it today. But not just the document, your deeds too. Make sure your home is actually titled in the name of the trust if it's supposed to be. Make sure your accounts are either inside of the trust or have the right beneficiary designations. If you're not sure, call your attorney this week because an unfunded trust doesn't protect your family. It just delays probate by a few extra steps. Quick pause before we get into mistake number 4 and 5. If you're watching this and thinking, I don't actually know if my plan has those gaps, that's exactly the kind of thing we help people with. The link below will take you to our calendar. Pick a time, we sit down, we look at your specific situation together. No obligation, just clarity. Okay, let's keep going because these last 2 mistakes, they're the ones that go beyond money entirely. Most of us think about legacy as something that happens after we're gone. But one of the most powerful things you can do has nothing to do with documents. Once you've reviewed your full financial picture, the assets, the accounts, the projections, sometimes it becomes clear there's more than enough. And instead of letting that wealth sit until death, the most intentional families start giving right now. Not just money, meaning letters written while there's still time to write them. Intentions shared. Values passed down in real conversations. Not just referenced in a legal document nobody reads until it's too late. Because here's the truth. Money transfers easily. A wire transfer takes 30 seconds. But meaning doesn't transfer automatically. Values don't transfer. The story behind why you built what you built, that doesn't show up in a will. If you want your wealth to represent something, those conversations have to happen while you're here to have them. And financially, it's smart too. The IRS actually gives you tools for this. The annual gift tax exclusion lets you give up to a certain amount per recipient each year, completely tax-free. You can fund education accounts as well, make charitable gifts, and see the impact while you're alive. This isn't just good planning. It's a different way of thinking about what wealth is actually for. Now, I want to talk to you about something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but it's too important to skip. What would you want if you couldn't decide for yourself? Not a hypothetical, a real question. If you were in a hospital bed, unable to speak, unable to communicate your wishes, who makes the call? And what would you actually want them to decide? Without a healthcare directive, also called an advance directive or living will, your family is left guessing. And what I've seen again and again is that families don't just disagree in these moments. They fracture. Siblings stop talking. Marriages get strained. And the emotional weight of making an impossible decision without any guidance can last for years. But when a directive is in place, and more importantly, when the person has actually talked about it, everything changes. There's no guessing, there's no conflict, there's just clarity. And clarity is one of the greatest gifts you can give the people you love. A healthcare directive isn't about giving up. It's about taking control, making sure your wishes are honored, and making sure your family isn't left carrying a decision they were never meant to carry alone. Get this document in place, and then have the conversation, because the document matters, but the conversation matters more. One more thing, because there's a common misconception I want to clear up quickly. A financial power of attorney allows someone you trust to step in and manage your finances if you become incapacitated. Pay your bills, access your accounts, make decisions while you're unable to. It's essential. But here's what most people don't know. That power of attorney ends the moment you pass away. The second you're gone, it no longer applies. Everything shifts to your estate plan, your beneficiaries, your will, your trust. And if those places aren't aligned with each other, that's exactly where the confusion starts. That's where your family ends up on hold with the bank, trying to figure out who has the legal authority to do anything. Your estate plan should be a system. Every place has to connect to every other place. Let me bring this together, because there's one bigger idea underneath all 5 of these mistakes. Estate planning is not about documents. It's about clarity. It's about removing uncertainty during one of those hardest moments of your family's life. Because when you're gone, your family doesn't need complexity. They need direction. They need simplicity. They need to know exactly what you wanted and exactly what to do. So here's your action plan. 5 things, not someday, this week. 1, check your beneficiaries on every account. 2, look at how your assets are titled. That determines how they transfer. 3, if you have a trust, verify it's actually funded. Call your attorney if you're not sure. 4, get your healthcare directive in place and have the conversation with the people who matter most. 5, ask yourself, is there someone you love that you could give to now? Not just money, meaning. If this video helped you to see even one gap in your plan, don't let it sit. The link in the description below will take you directly to our calendar. Book a call. Let's look at your situation together and make sure your family is actually protected, not just on paper. And if you found this valuable, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of conversation I'm having every week, and the families who show up consistently are the ones who are genuinely prepared. Don't forget about the priority actions after you lose a loved one guide that's down below as well. This will help support any grieving family with the exact steps to close out someone's financial affairs. Stay golden, and I'll see you in the next video.